A car that isn't supposed to exist anymore is coming back to the track. A color NASCAR said goodbye to years ago is returning under the lights. A number that was never supposed to carry this kind of weight again is about to roll onto pit road at one of the sport's most brutal short tracks. This is a yellow that hasn't been seen on a Cup Series car since 2022. Built by a sponsor that walked away from NASCAR years ago, coming back for someone who isn't even the driver it was originally built for. The winningest driver in NASCAR history is the reason this paint scheme exists. A widow who has spent months trying to hold a family together is the reason it's coming back. A 23-year-old who inherited a number he never asked to carry the weight of is the one who will drive it. In May, a shocking loss silenced the entire garage. In 3 weeks, under the lights at the track he loved more than any other, that color is coming back one more time, but this time, someone else is behind the wheel. If you already know whose car this is, drop it in the comments right now, because what happens next is going to divide this entire fan base. The track at the center of this story is Bristol Motor Speedway, known across NASCAR as the world's fastest half-mile. It is the venue where one driver became a legend by sweeping an entire National Series triple-header weekend not once, but twice, in 2010 and 2017. A feat no other driver in NASCAR history has matched even once. That driver is Kyle Busch, a two-time Cup Series champion with 63 Cup wins across his career, and Bristol was arguably his personal kingdom. Busch won 8 Cup Series races, 9 Xfinity Series races, and 5 Truck Series races at that half-mile alone. Busch died suddenly on May 21 at just 41 years old, after pneumonia turned into sepsis. The news came from Samantha Busch, his widow, who broke it herself on Instagram and X, not NASCAR or a press release. The driver who will carry Busch's tribute car is Ty Gibbs, the 23-year-old who replaced Busch at Joe Gibbs Racing back in 2023. Gibbs wasn't just Busch's replacement. He was someone Busch personally mentored on his way up through the sport. Now here's where it gets complicated. Ty Gibbs took Kyle Busch's seat, so why would his widow hand him this honor? Comment below. Do you think this makes sense, or does it feel strange to you? And speaking of building something worth sticking around for, NASCAR Trackline TV is closing in on 1,500 subscribers, and if you want more real NASCAR breakdowns exactly like this one, hitting subscribe helps us get there faster. Samantha Busch posted the news through an Instagram video, raw and personal, not a polished press statement. Samantha Busch said Bristol was always one of Kyle's favorite tracks, adding that he loved racing under the lights and that the M&M's car holds some of the best memories of his career and their life together. She admitted that going back to Bristol without him will be heartbreaking and said plainly, he should be there. Samantha Busch has been publicly processing grief in the months since, speaking about the physical pain grief causes and the disbelief that hits her every morning. She said she's grateful the M&M's colors are coming back to Bristol one last time on the 54 car, calling it a chance to honor him at a place he loved so much, and said she believes Kyle would want us to be there, to keep showing up, keep racing, and keep carrying his legacy forward. Take a second and imagine being in her position, walking back into the same grandstands without him. Would you be strong enough to do it? Let us know in the comments. Mars and M&M sponsored Busch for 15 seasons at Joe Gibbs Racing from 2008 to 2022. The bright yellow number 18 became one of the most recognizable cars in NASCAR. M&M's exited NASCAR entirely at the end of 2022, the same year Busch left Joe Gibbs Racing for Richard Childress Racing. Whether that exit was connected to Busch leaving has long been something fans have speculated about, without a confirmed answer. After years of staying away, M&M's chose to come back. Not for a new sponsorship deal, but for one single race, and not on the car number Busch made famous, but on the number 54, a number with its own hidden history. Why do you think M&M's picked this exact moment to come back? Comment your theory below. The number 54 wasn't some random number handed to Ty Gibbs. Busch himself made that number matter first, running it heavily in NASCAR's second-tier series years before Gibbs ever got near it, personally helping develop Gibbs as he came up through the ranks. Fans on Reddit have been digging through the archives, pointing out that Busch and Gibbs actually shared the number 54 car during Gibbs' rookie Xfinity Series season, with 9 combined wins between them that year, 4 for Gibbs and 5 for Busch himself. This reframes the entire tribute as a full-circle moment fans immediately recognized once they started connecting the dots. Did you already know Busch and Gibbs shared history in that exact car number? Be honest in the comments. This isn't a simple throwback repaint. The car incorporates hundreds of photographs chronicling Busch's career woven directly into the design, including victory lane moments and his signature post-race bow. Joe Gibbs Racing called it something that's going to be amazing to see on track at Bristol, especially with all of the photos from Kyle's career built into the design. JGR President Dale Alpern described it as a privilege to honor Busch's legacy at the track he loved the most. Bristol is also where Busch earned his final JGR win, on the Bristol dirt track back in 2022, closing a loop that started years before his death. Comment yes or no, will you watch this one without getting emotional? Ty Gibbs posted photos of the car on Instagram, writing that he's excited for Bristol, calling it "gonna be a cool one," and adding that he's so honored to drive this. Gibbs isn't just driving a throwback scheme for one night. He's carrying the emotional weight of an entire fan base's grief into one of the most physically demanding, chaotic short tracks on the Cup Series schedule. Gibbs is in the best season of his career, sitting second in the Cup Series standings, coming off a win at Iowa Speedway, and already has a Bristol win on his resume this year. If Gibbs wins in this car, it becomes one of the most iconic moments in modern NASCAR history. If he wrecks it or finishes poorly, the fan base will be watching under a very different lens. Do you think Ty Gibbs can handle that kind of pressure, or does it backfire on him? The moment this news broke, the NASCAR community split into three camps. Camp 1 was pure emotion, fans openly saying they didn't expect to cry over a paint scheme render. Camp 2 was quiet skepticism, a noticeable pocket of fans questioning whether this was as much about goodwill as it was about drawing eyeballs and die-cast sales back to a struggling sponsor relationship. Camp 3 was the reluctant converts, fans who openly admit they've never liked Ty Gibbs but say this tribute is making them root for him anyway, several describing it as the first time they've ever wanted to see him win. Multiple fans have predicted this could become one of the best-selling NASCAR diecasts of the year, maybe the decade. Which camp are you in? Comment which one is you. This isn't just a tribute race. It's the Bristol Night Race, the Bass Pro Shops Night Race, the third event of the 2026 chase, meaning Gibbs is racing in a playoff environment where a mistake costs him real championship ground. Busch is the only driver in NASCAR history to sweep an entire National Series triple-header weekend at Bristol, and he did it twice. That shadow is now built directly into the car Gibbs will be driving. Will Gibbs separate the emotional weight of the scheme from the brutal racing Bristol is known for? Will the playoff pressure collide with a moment meant to be about grief and legacy? If M&M's does return one last time, as Samantha Busch put it, is that truly the end, or the opening chapter of something bigger? On September 19th, under the lights, we find out. Do you think Ty Gibbs wins this one for Kyle Busch, or does the pressure get to him? Drop your prediction below. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next. Comment and share this video with a fellow NASCAR fan who needs to see this story.